All right, so basically what I wanted to go over today was like a 201 class for Zoom, or for, sorry, not for Zoom, for smart plans. Um, I want to be able to show you guys how to create your own custom smart plan and just some of the other, like the rules almost and regulations around smart plans so that you can avoid any pitfalls, and also understand how to like bulk add contacts, kind of what the value of smart plans are, how you can get creative with smart plans. And then specifically, we'll go through a smart plan that I created in my command site for like a care plan that agents might want to use so that they can schedule out calls and touches and texts to their database, especially now, obviously. Just because I think now we want to be a little bit more structured on how we're reaching out to people and strategize a little bit more. We don't want to just be calling people and forgetting kind of what we spoke about or forgetting to follow up if we didn't get in touch. So smart plans are a great way to organize yourself and make sure that those pieces are taken care of and you're not forgetting anything. So what I always like to start off my command classes saying is that your CRM is your boss as a real estate agent. And luckily you have a really good boss because Command is a really great CRM. It's a really powerful program that intertwines a ton of different applets, as we call them, as you know, and different programs and strategies, but it guides you really well. So let's just quickly go to your home, go to the dashboard here. And this is what I mean by your CRM being your boss. So as I hope that you know, you can reorganize your dashboard to reflect what's most important to you to see every day. And for me, that's the tasks. Now I usually use RTL's command, so that's why mine's a little sparse. But basically, like the task list is what I try to start and what I'm trying to implement even more to go by each day as to what I need to do, who I need to call, and when this last time I spoke to them, put on agents on smart plans. So that applies to you guys as well, putting on different consumers and clients on smart plans, and then you'll be able to see all the tasks and all the people you need to call for that day. So that's what I mean when I say your CRM is your boss. So you want to listen to it. And the most important thing though is not only listening and doing the tasks, but actually feeding him tasks, creating calls. And that's when smart plans can really come in and leverage a lot of your time in creating those tasks for you. So essentially, we'll just do a really brief overview of like Smart Plans 101, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Essentially, what you want to do when you first go into Smart Plans is go into the library and ensure that all of the Smart Plans you want to use are added to your Smart Plans tab. And that way all of these will show up and you'll be able to utilize them, turn them on, and add contacts to them. Now, also very quickly, we'll just go through how to add an actual contact to a smart plan. Let me minimize this. Okay. So we have, for example, biweekly neighborhood nurture. So we can add a contact in multiple ways, which is really great. And that's command is pretty intuitive that way. And actually it's impressive to me how many different ways that you can actually do a task in the different applets, and they connect very well. So one of the ways that you can add a contact is by going directly to the Smart Plans applet in your Smart Plans and adding a contact here. You can add bulk by tags, or let's see, better, there we go. Better tag would probably be HVN agent. We'll try that. Okay. So you can select all and bulk add. Now, different smart plans obviously require different things to make them work. So here, because we chose the neighborhood nurture smart plan, there's no neighborhoods listed for these contacts, so they won't be added to that smart plan. But most of the smart plans don't really have many of those restrictions, so you'll be able to select all and bulk add. Now, it is important to be discerning, obviously, when you're bulk adding a group of tags to a smart plan, that it's relevant to that group and that you have really sorted through your tags and mastered your tags and groups to know that the correct information and the relevancy of the smart plan is going to apply to all those contacts. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to be sending somebody some weird things, because especially if it seems automated or from a bot or from a smart plan, that doesn't make a good impression. So be discerning. Now you also can search by name, obviously, and add them individually as well. And you just hit add to smart plan. So that's a really brief refresher on how to add contacts. And also here, when there are contacts added, you will be able to see the number right here next to the smart plan. And by clicking the eye, you can see what contacts are actually on that smart plan, and you can remove or unsubscribe them from that smart plan from this panel as well. As I'm sure you all know, if you're in this 201 class, you can also add smart contacts to smart plans directly from their contact card as well. So those are some different options for you. I just want to make sure I have the chat up just in case. Okay. Yes, and if you do have any questions, just put them in the chat and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay. So now I think that again, the most important thing to remember about smart plans is they're a strategy, essentially. They're a strategy to stay in front of people in an effective way. So what's really exciting about the smart plans right now is that we are soon going to get some custom triggers. So trigger events that will start a smart plan for a specific contact. So right now you see the trigger is the manual addition, which is what we just went over. You have to manually add contacts to the smart plan in order for it to start. But in the future, in the soon to be future, you will be able to designate triggers, such as when you are running a Facebook campaign and you receive a lead from that Facebook campaign, you can actually create a custom smart plan around that Facebook campaign, name it as such, and create custom language and texts and emails around what you were posting in that campaign. And that those leads that come in from that campaign will automatically get added to the smart plan, no manual add needed. So that's really exciting. And there's going to be a lot of creative smart plans and a lot of videos, I'm sure, on YouTube from other agents that are using that really creatively. So I encourage you to stay in tune to that and really explore what other agents are doing, because I think personally that's really the best way to learn and dive in and get some inspiration into how to incorporate this into your business, is to appeal to what others are doing and share that knowledge. Now, I wanted to go over this little care plan that I created so that we can kind of see how to create a custom smart plan and also what some of the restrictions on that are. So a good way to do this is just to honestly just click create. It's pretty simple. Name your plan and apply it. So I'm just going to go through this plan that I had created. We'll just go to edit. Now, another thing I want to emphasize here is when you create a custom smart plan, you have a certain set of language that you're using for each text and each email and etc., right? But it's very simple when you create something custom, I'll just save this, to copy it. And you can change the language for a specific group of contacts or tags that you might have. So you can just quickly select copy, apply, and edit this, and you can rename it. So for example, if you wanted a care plan that was a set of calls and emails and texts out to checking in on people, specifically one for like seniors, your older clients, it might be completely different from the one from your millennial or first-time homebuyer clients, because perhaps their communication preferences are different. Like millennials might like to receive a text first rather than a call, or you might want to include some different language about first-time homebuyer rates in the email that might be different from like a sales kind of oriented care plan that would be for longtime homeowners. So you can slightly edit them, and it's very quick and super easy to just copy that care plan and change the language slightly depending on who you're sending it out to. And when you rename it, you can say, you'll just make that note obviously for yourself, millennial care plan. I'm a millennial, I can't even spell it. Oh God, this is embarrassing. Okay. Millennial care plan. And then, for example, you might want to edit again, like the call to be a text first. Now, the other thing in the same vein to mention is that care plans really, or smart plans, I should say, they really come to their full potential if you connect Twilio. So I hope that everybody knows what Twilio is and how to connect it. Just in case you don't, you just go into your settings and the regular app settings and how to connect everything. You would connect Twilio, either create an account or log in with your account through Twilio. And Twilio is $20 to start. It's like a down payment kind of. And you select a phone number. You can select one that has your same area code for the area that you're sending out texts to, but it's not going to be your phone number. It will be a different phone number. And then each text is like 0.0075 of a penny or something per text. It's very inexpensive, but you know, it does cost something. So you want to keep that in mind if you're sending out a bunch of texts. But it is helpful, right? Because instead of creating a task around a text message that you might want to send, you can just go straight to Twilio and send them out. Okay, so the other important thing to note is that these emails, the automated emails, are not coming through MailChimp. They are coming from command email. So command email, you get up to 5,000 emails per month for free. If you're going over that, you might have to pay an additional subscription. So you also want to make sure in your settings that command email is set up and appropriate to the actual email that you want to be sending email from. So it might be different actually than your command email, right? It might be a different email. It might be a Gmail. It might be a different KW email. So you want to make sure that the email you are sending emails out from is correct in your settings in the command email. Okay. So that's just a little housekeeping with setting these up. So this is my call care plan. Now, it's really pretty straightforward. A few things to keep in mind as you're creating steps. We'll just go through what the steps are. So creating a task obviously creates a trigger that will go into your dashboard in your task list, as we went over earlier in the call. Making a call, it's just a reminder, it's a touch that you want to make a call to a particular contact. Sending an email. So there's simple emails or there's HTML emails available in command when you're creating a smart plan. You can create a simple email just by writing in text, very, very simple. I mean, that's what it is, right? You can add links, hyperlinks, you can add photos in the email. And then there's also templated HTML emails, which with a lot of like photos that look similar to sort of a MailChimp type email that have been created for you already. You can also create those and save them as templates too, which is really great, right? So you can save the email templates that you're creating in the smart plans for future use. Just to note, especially on mobile, the simple emails look cleaner. They look a little bit better and open a little bit easier when you're sending them through a smart plan. So just keep that in mind. If you have highly majorly like mobile users that you're sending out a smart plan to, you might just want to stick to the simple emails. But we'll go through that a little bit later. Then the SMS texting, obviously, it will either create a reminder to send a text manually, or it will send one automated for you through Twilio. Then a delay. So when you're setting a delay, that's what I recommend more so than like this due date that you'll see. I recommend setting delays between tasks and instead of assigning a due date. A delay can be, I think it's up to 15 days. We'll go through those really quickly soon. But it's a great idea to stagger things, right? You don't want necessarily for like a million tasks to happen all at once. You want to set delays and stagger those. And then adding to a smart plan. Make sure when you're adding this task into your custom smart plan, you're doing it at the end. I made this mistake of doing it right in the middle of a smart plan and it sort of messed it up. So when you want to set a trigger to add to a smart plan, it's typically when this smart plan that you're creating has ended, and then you want to roll them over into a new smart plan. So make sure that that's at the end of this smart plan. And then similarly, restart flow. So the restart flow would restart the smart plan right from the top. So make sure that's at the end as well, right? Okay. So here are some rules and tips. This is very small, but very important. Okay, so how to plan smarter. And once you really master these tips, it's much easier to think strategically about how to create an effective smart plan within these guidelines, and then how to get creative about making, rolling over to a different smart plan or repeating or starting flows for different smart plans for different reasons. So when you're creating a task, you can only create 2 tasks a day per smart plan, okay? So delays must be added between those steps. So you do not, and this is all on purpose, right? And some of these things will be loosened up, and command developers will be changing these things to accommodate some requests and some more common sense things that you guys might want. But for right now, these are the rules, and they're done for a reason. essentially they don't want you to either be doing too much, and they don't want you to be sending too much out to your clients, and for either of you to get overwhelmed. Smart plans are supposed to be really intentional and look good, make you look good, and make your client happy. So that's why these certain rules have been put in place. So it allows 2 tasks a day per smart plan. And then sending SMS, requires at least 1 day delay between scheduled text messages, which makes sense, right? You don't necessarily want to be sending automated texts 3 times a day to your clients. And sending email also requires at least 1 day delay between scheduled email messages. Now, I do know for a fact some of these things are going to be loosened up and changed, but they do make sense, right? Even now. Setting a delay cannot be less than 1 day. This is one that I actually would really like to change personally, but it makes sense that you want to have 1 day in duration between steps in a smart plan. It does require at least 1 action between delays, so you can't stack delays to make the length really long. And a smart plan total duration cannot exceed 90 days. And that makes sense, right? Because you don't want to keep a client on a smart plan and to get stale, for them to just forget about you. Oh, this guy keeps emailing me after 4 months and I don't want to hear from him anymore. This makes it more intentional when you're going through your smart plans, to make sure that the people that are still receiving emails or texts or whatever, calls from you, that you're reevaluating if that's still appropriate for them after 3 months. So smart plans cannot exceed 90 days. Then you can roll them over, as we discussed, into a new smart plan, but still that creates more intentionality behind it. So add to a smart plan. You can only allowed once per day per smart plan. So delays must be added between steps, and you cannot add more than 1 version of a canned smart plan. So that makes sense as well, right? Delays must be added, and you can't add somebody to multiple smart plans in 1 day, because what does that mean? It means that they're probably getting, that trigger is happening from that manual ad, and they might be getting multiple emails. So that's why you can only add them to 1 smart plan per day. And then due cannot exceed 14 days. So this due in days cannot exceed 14 days, which makes sense, right? You're not really going to need to push it past 14 days. If you do, then you can set a delay. There's different ways to work within the smart plan to push things out further if you do need to do that. And again, restart flow is available for smart plans of at least 14 days in length. So a really smart, like, birthday plan, for example, which is only like 2, 3, or 6 days or something, you wouldn't be able to restart that flow, which makes sense because it's sort of just a one-time thing. Same with like a home anniversary, right? It's not a 14-day smart plan. It's just a few days, or even 3 days, just reminding you to say happy anniversary for somebody for buying their home, So restart flow, at least 14 days in length. So keep that in mind when you're designing your smart plan and you see how many days they are. And again, must be added as the last action in the flow for restart flow. And per smart plan, touches cannot exceed 7 within 7 days, 12 within 30, or 15 total in 1 smart plan. So as you see here, let's see, static, dynamic, simple. So for example, the task touches and the phone calls and the texts are all considered touches. So you cannot exceed a certain number of touches, 15 total in 1 smart plan, which makes sense, right? You don't need to be necessarily touching that person so often. If you do, then you can add them to a new smart plan that follows this too. So these all make sense. And again, if you have any feedback regarding the rules behind the custom smart plans, you can always pop them into the suggestion box for labs and make your suggestion there. I'm sure there's a lot already. And I do know some of these rules and regulations will be loosening up a little bit and changing as well. But for right now, that's what we have. So just please keep that in mind. Okay, and here also another place to add people to smart plan, you can add them here. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our actions. Now, so this smart plan was designed with the care calls that I'm sure all of you are doing right now in mind. So the task name was a care call, and I found that in researching this that it's probably helpful to create like these merge fields in the task names and in the descriptions, just to remind you who you're calling right away when you see it in your task list. And also the phone number would be right there too, so you can just quickly call them, and then go back into command and select that you completed the task, and that will also be recorded in their contact card. So instead of having to go directly into their contact card to look up their number or whatever, you can just quickly pop it into your phone when that number is displayed in your dashboard in the task list. So I think that's really helpful. Now, just bear in mind that when you're adding these things, I'll just do this really quickly. You have to, it's silly, but you have to add them backwards in order for them to show up correctly. So instead of like first name, last name, phone, you have to add phone, then last name, then first name for them to come up in correct order. So just keep that in mind if you're getting frustrated for some reason when trying to do this. Then similarly, the task description, this is just like a little script you can write for yourself, so that when you click on the task, you can have the script right in front of you, and it's part of your smart plan, so you only have to write it once, and then it just becomes like you memorize it eventually. But I think it's really helpful to have that script right in front of you when you're clicking on that task in your task list. So hi, Ray, this is Corinne from Keller Williams, Hudson Valley North. I wanted to check in. How are you and your family right now, etc. Just write whatever you feel or what you've been using as your script right now, and include that in your smart plan. Now you can also add a link for any reason to any task that you create, which is helpful if you need to reference a script, for example, or reference something that you might have in your Google Drive. You can add that link. Reference maybe even like a landing page that they might be looking at. So yeah, that's really a great thing to also incorporate. Now, a big suggestion, please do this, because I did not do this and I lost a few hours of work in a long smart plan. Save every single step as you create it. So just hit that little check mark and make sure that this is a little green light go, that everything has been saved as you're adding these actions to your custom smart plans, okay? Now, another thing, if you do not know, you can move up and down these actions within the smart plan. If you're not happy with the location, you can just click move down and move it down once and once and once until you get it to the position that you want. Set a delay. When you're setting delay, just make sure you're clicking up and down the arrows. You can't actually manually type in the number. It doesn't work really great, but that's fine. So I set a delay between the phone call and a text for pretty obvious reasons. I think you don't want to bombard people, especially during these times. Sometimes people just aren't available. They, might have just seen your voicemail, or maybe, just didn't pick up the phone for some reason. So give them a little breathing room, give them a little space. Make sure you're setting delays appropriately for these smart plans. Then send a text. So I have a Twilio account connected. I'm deciding to send a static text. Then you can, this is where the merge fields can really come through. You can add your app link in this text. You can add your name, your last name if you want, your email, or their email, their name, etc., their birthday, anything that you might want to include in these merge fields, you can. So to make it personal. So hi, first name, it's me. I wanted to check in to see how your family doing right now. How are you? You really keep it really simple, straightforward. Make it sound as authentic as possible. It is authentic, right? It's just customized and strategy for being able to contact as many people as you can at this time. Now, another cool thing, this is a static message. You can create dynamic messages. So if you were to create a flow, restart flow for this particular smart plan or for another, you can actually change the text message so it's not the same exact text message each time. So you can add up to six cycles, which is really interesting, right? So you can change it slightly. If you want to say, hi, how are you the first time, then the next time through, you want to say, I know we've been talking for a little bit, or whatever you want to say that makes sense based upon the rest of the smart plan. You can actually change that and just incorporate it right here, so that as it cycles through, it'll go number one text, number two, number three, number four, as it goes through the flow again and again. Then you can also just delete from here, merge fields again here. So yeah, it's really, and just please also note the character limit is limited, so 480 characters only. for each text. Okay.
You need to go in, you need to tell Rachel.
Then there's a delay again because between the text and the email, again, it's just about not bombarding people with too much messaging. Then an email. So now that we've kind of had this conversation about how are you, I'm here for you, etc. Now we want to kind of, if you do, I mean, you may not want to, you can have this email be another care email, extending another piece of value in some way. Or you might just want to stay like, do you want to be on a neighborhood smart plan? You know, you can kind of push it. That's what's really fun about these custom smart plans is you can do as many as you want. You can just copy the steps from one that you created and change the email, change one text, change the script that you have in a call task, because you know you might want different, you know, you might want to just have different smart plans going for people, and you might not want to talk about the real estate market. You might want to talk about something else. So in this email, I just said, you know, would it be okay if basically I put you on a monthly neighborhood smart plan? Do you want to have a monthly email regarding your specific neighborhood that you live in? We want to ensure that you stay informed about what's happening in the real estate market in terms of home values, etc. So if they reply, hold on, I'm just going to where that is.
No, because he's like, yeah. Oh, I like that.
Okay. So would it be okay if I sent you a monthly email? And then please make sure that you do include your email signature. It's not auto-generated for you. You need to have that for compliance reasons and just also so they know who is sending the email. So please make sure that you incorporate that into any emails you're writing in Smart Plans. So yeah, this is just an idea. You can also include links here. You can change the formatting and make it look a little bit more complex. You can add checklists, etc. Bold things, underline things, all of that. Now we'll also look at the HTML email. So you can browse the library for some templates. These are the templates that have been created for you. There's a birthday email that you can add to a custom or the current birthday plan. Happiest of wishes, and it's always branded to you. And of course, I recommend, as you should, as anyone should, that you create, when you create a custom smart plan especially, you put yourself as the first contact on it, so that, and go through the cycle at least once so you can see what your consumer will be seeing, right? And up here, obviously, you can see what it looks like, and that on mobile and on a tablet. Okay. And there's a bunch of other ones. The home anniversary one is cute. The promote your app one is good. If you want to incorporate that even in a care call plan, right? You might want to say, oh, we have a really cool app too. Like if you're looking to stay on top of real estate trends or what's happening, here's our app. So that's really great. It has all the info, like the copy that you might want, and then a link to download the app here and download my app. This would be your branded link. So that's really great too. And so these are just some templates to explore. So we don't want this one. Okay, so we're gonna go with the simple email. And this just says to stay up to date. Now also in the merge field here, you can say hi to make it more personalized, their first name. Okay, and then save that. And again, with the emails, there is a character limit to be mindful of, please. And that's honestly, it's done on purpose. You know, the most read emails, especially if it's on a smart plan where you might be contacting them in multiple ways over a short period of time, you want to keep things kind of short and sweet, right? You can say plenty in 2,000 characters. Set a delay, and then it's important to also create a task for yourself to remind yourself of any action that you might have to take if somebody responded to this smart plan. So for example, if that person that you're doing care calls for and you sent out an email saying, do you want to be part of my monthly neighborhood nurture, in not so many words, but if you want to get monthly email updates about your neighborhood, and they said yes, then it's probably important, if you're, you know, a real busy real estate agent getting a lot of emails, that you set a task for yourself to check that, to make sure that if they responded with their personal home address that they want added to their contact card, that you go ahead and add that. Because I think even personally, I know that if I don't have a task for it, sometimes I just forget. So it is important to think ahead and think of your working style and think of, you know, what kind of reminders you might need when you're creating these smart plans. And you can also add a link here, again, to any task. Now, this is a non-touch task. So again, going back to those like little structured rules, make sure you're designating those appropriately. So this is just a task for yourself, so it's not a touch out to that contact. Then set a delay again. And then there's another email here that I created about kind of promoting the app. So new way to experience real estate. The reason for today's email was a new way to share your experience to real estate from your neighborhood and beyond. And then you can insert your app link by easily going to the merge fields. Oh, where did it go? There was a merge field for the app, I thought. Or you can just quickly, you know, use your link and put it right there. But this is just another idea if you're having this longer term conversation over the course of 2 weeks with somebody. Maybe you do want to introduce, like, here's an app, here, get on a monthly neighborhood nurture, or maybe you want to stay clear of that, and I understand that as well. Okay, and then set another delay. Make a call again to check in, set another delay, create a task that the care plan has ended for this contact. Again, this is not a touch. And then the task description for yourself is kind of just, what do you want to do next? Do you want to put this person on another smart plan? Do you want to, you know, put them on, you know, 2 different smart plans at once? Do you just need to follow up and create like an opportunity pipeline for them? What do you need to do? So I think that's also important at the end of a smart plan, that you are, again, setting that reminder so as not to lose track of that contact as to what to do next with them. Okay, so that's another important task to remember. Now that's pretty much like the long and short of it in terms of custom smart plans. Once the triggers are released, there's going to be a lot more opportunity to kind of get more creative. But again, even within this, like, you can really create a very complex, fully fleshed out smart plan for a lot of different reasons for a lot of different people. Now, also bear in mind that smart plans are going to come out for opportunities, for referrals, for leads. So there's going to be a lot of differentiation that you're going to be able to make between those different segments of your business. All of the smart plans right now are available for people plans, which is just like contacts, one-on-one type stuff. So get really familiar with how to create a smart plan, get smart about it. And so then you'll be prepared for, as these new features get rolled out, you'll be prepared to how to use them to their maximum effect. I want to see if there's anything else. And just keep in mind that a lot of smart plans are actually available right now. Like, if you go to different Facebook pages or you're part of different groups, or even if you just Google like certain Keller Williams teams, some people are making their smart plans available for free online or for a very small price. And that's going to be a bigger part of the marketplace at some point soon, that you're going to actually be able to buy the template of some more creative smart plans to employ in your own business. So I think that's really exciting. And especially if you're just getting like downloading maybe even the steps and like the language that someone's using, you're able to still edit that completely and make it your own. But it's just like that structure, that wire structure for a different type of smart plan that maybe you didn't think of yourself. So I think that's really awesome. So yeah, definitely hound Facebook groups, do some Googling, look up maybe your favorite teams in Keller Williams to see if they have any resources, or even email them. I mean, I know a lot of teams are really willing to share things because that's what our company culture is all about, right? We're all about learning and growing and sharing together and creating win-wins. So if you see somebody is doing something really cool, reach out to them and ask how they're doing it. I think that's pretty much it though. I hope that that was helpful for you. Please let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, I'm sure that there will be a 301 for this class pretty soon as the triggers come out. Thanks, Patty. I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah. Let me know if you have any questions. And also, if you want to like run a smart plan to me, just include me as your contact on any smart plans you want to experiment with. You can certainly do that as well. I'm really happy to be your guinea pig and give you some feedback. I do want to note that one of my biggest pet peeves, and I think a lot of consumers, make sure your grammar is right in the emails you're sending. I think have your admin or have somebody else or me just look over some stuff if you're not like really sure. And it's always helpful to have a second set of eyes to catch any typos anyways, right? You want to make sure those emails you're sending out to a lot of people are correct grammatically and are sounding the way you want them to sound. So that's just a little tip. Other than that, have fun and get creative and let me know what you come up with. So enjoy your day, guys. Look forward to hearing from you soon.